getting some use out of the $60 toy. At least we were until the camera went on. As I said before, as we get closer to dawn, he starts to perk up as a last hurrah and starts to have the zoomies and entice the other cats to play. And so it begins. Slow at first. Sasha's intrigued with the toy but doesn't quite know if she's allowed to play with it without Snozzy's permission. And bear in mind, Sasha's 1.5 years old, maybe even older. He was a blow-in. Much older than Snozzy, who's only about 6 months old. But yet they still play together quite well. He's jumping inside the cat carrier, which yesterday Snozzy was playing Jack in the Box inside there, and every time one of the cats walked past, he'd leap out and pounce on top of them. Yeah, Sasha's in there having an inspection of it. Yeah. That's right, knock the helmet off. And we'll drop down on Kit and give her the scare of her life. I'm very happy that they all seem to get along fairly well. You know, there's the odd spat here and there, a dominance display, and Sooty's currently going through threat displays ever since Little Girl turned up last week, trying to reassert herself in the hierarchy of things. But Snozzy seems to bring them all together. He plays with everybody, and everybody seems to play with him. And more recently, they've started playing with each other, which they sort of stopped doing when they got out of the kitten stage. Don't pull my curtains down. They're only stuck on with little hook thingies. Yeah. So yeah, my flat with all my bike parts and everything, it's a bit of a jungle gym. Gives them something to climb on. I have considered getting those things, and putting them around the wall so the cats can run around, but finances are limited being on the pension, so one day mainly, maybe. As you can see, it's overcast outside. The sky looks a bit lighter in the camera than it does in real life, but it is just coming on to daylight the next half hour or so. What's going to happen here? Anything? Try to get the camera balanced so it's not so shaky. Seen him. And bear in mind, any of these big cats could pin him and hurt him bad if they chose to, so there's no real aggression there. It's just gentle fun and play. The only one you've got to be careful of who's that out there? That's Limpy Cat. He's he turned up 4 months ago. We trapped him and got him neutered, released him, and then he suffered an injury, either climbing a fence or got hit by a car or something now, and he limps on his back legs and his tail hangs down. But he's only ever been on the outer, on the peripheral. Gray doesn't like him. Sooty doesn't like him. He seems to hang around Skit Kit a bit. But he walked in the front door for the first time tonight when none of the other cats were around. But any movement from me and he'd dart back out again. So he's not comfortable. I can walk outside and get within about 5 foot of him to feed him. But that's about it. He's very, very much uncomfortable around people, movement. But he's still, again, he's wanting to join the group, but not all the group are accepting of him. And this has been going on, as I said, for about 4 months or so. In fact, I've got a feeling he is actually from about actually might be more like 5 months, 5 or 6 months ago, he first showed up and he impregnated Skit Kit, we believe, and that's where Angel came from. Angel and the other 2 kittens, both of whom, unfortunately, in their first week of out of the nest, both got cleaned up by cars. Very, very sad. But again, that's street life, it's hard. The property that Skit Kit had the kittens on, we couldn't get access to, and we had to wait until she started bringing them across, and it was only in that first 3 nights that she brought them across, she lost 2 kittens to cars. Very sad indeed. And then it was a week or so later we lost Ginger to a car. He was over a year old at that stage, and we would have thought he knew better, but no, he got cleaned up. He was the last kitten from a previous litter. And on Australia Day, well, that was Australia Day, sorry, he got cleaned up, so January 26th. And the month before that, Snuggles got cleaned up 8 o'clock in the morning when the garbage truck came by late, and he was out the front with Fluffy playing. He crossed the road with Fluffy, and when the garbage truck turned up, he panicked and ran. He got around the garbage truck, but got cleaned up by a car that was coming in the other direction. Again, that was my biggest loss. He was my favourite. I still tend to tear up every time I think about him. And as much as I love Snozzy, as I said, the Snuggles was something different. He was very engaging. He was like the little boy that would run up to you and say, "Are you watching?" and then go back to what he was doing. He always seemed to engage with you. He'd climb up on your shoulder, and when you get up to make a coffee or roll a cigarette or whatever it was I was doing, he would sit there perfectly balanced on your shoulder, no intent to jump off, unlike the other kittens at the time. And I could even go up to the shops and walk around the local shops, and he would happily sit on my shoulder and take in all the sights. A very curious cat, and quite trustworthy to sit there. No chance of him jumping off and running out in the traffic or getting scared by people or anything like that. He was very good like that. It's just unfortunate his demise at 4.5 months old came suddenly. He was the cat I was intending to keep. No offence to Snozzy. Snozzy got lucky or unlucky that he got very, very sick or almost died. The RSPCA were encouraging me to surrender him to be put down, but I persevered with him, knowing that in his condition at the time there was no way he could be rehomed with the other 3 kittens. But yeah, he pulled through, and then when we got into sex, he also had a polyp removed from his nose, and that's when he went from a lethargic, not very healthy cat to the boisterous little thing that he is today. He's come forward in leaps and bounds within days of the surgery. And he is a great cat, don't get me wrong. He is a great cat. He's got a lot of great qualities. He climbs up and snuggles up with me all the time. But he isn't Snuggles. There was just something a little bit different, a little bit more engaging about that cat. So this has been going for nearly 12 minutes now. I think this one will go on to videos, I suppose. We'll upload it as a video if anybody wants to watch it. Although, strangely enough, most people only seem to watch the shorts. Their memory span attention span, I should say, doesn't seem to hold for very long. When I upload videos, they only get a couple of dozen views, and that. Whereas I get with my shorts and my shorter shorts, I can get anywhere between 1 and 3,000 views. Mostly only about 400 or 500, but some of them seem to hit 1.3. One even hit 3,000, I think. But yeah, I had somebody on Instagram actually post tonight, call one of my videos when I was first going down towards the abandoned house with the cats and pointing out all the different cats. And he just labelled it clickbait, which I have done myself to other people's shorts, reels or whatever. So I take no offence at their opinion. But yeah, nothing could be further than the truth, from the truth, I should say. This is more for my benefit, something so I've got a diary, something I can look back on over the next few years and see the memories if I so desire. And also for anybody that's interested in watching the progression of these cats. I do notice though that once a short's been up and watched after a day or two, that people stop looking at them. Nobody goes back, and even newcomers that come in don't seem to go back and watch the other videos or comment on the other videos. It's not like a book where or a movie where you see the ending on the TV and you go, I've got to watch that movie. So you go and back and watch the beginning and watch the whole movie. It's people just pick up and wherever it is they join. Some people subscribe, some people make nice comments, other people, move on and do other things, I suppose. That's social media. Something modern day, attention span lacks, or is lacking. Okay, well there you go. We're 4.5 minutes. The fun seems to have finished. They'll go and run around the garden for a while until about 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I'll call Snozzy in and lock him in for the day. So everybody, have a nice day. Hope your Easter is as good as mine is. Enjoy.